Welcome to the show. I'm Ryan Campbell, your host for today. I'm here with Nadiia Solo. Nadiia, you come from Ukraine, and you have some intimate knowledge of some of the communities that are being threatened by this invasion, and you also have some ideas on how people in Tuolumne County can help. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Nadiia, can you begin by telling us a little bit about where you're from, where you grew up in Ukraine, and how you came to be living in beautiful Tuolumne County, California?
Yes, yes, I was born and raised in Ukraine. It's a small town called Nikopol that's on the main river called Dnipro. It's central Ukraine, maybe like southeast of the central Ukraine.
Yeah.
I spent my all school years there, went to college, and after graduating from college, I had a friend who introduced me to one of this program that's called Work and Travel USA. It was back in 2008. We came to the United States to work just for the summer, like seasonal workers, based on the fact that we were students back there.
Mm-hmm. And that was 2008.
That was in 2008.
And so you moved to, was it California?
Actually, Tuolumne County was the place where yes.
So this was your first introduction, that was it for you?
That was it.
Wow.
We flew to San Francisco. We made our way to Modesto, spent the night, and got picked up by our employer, designated employer at that time.
Do you still have family and what was the name of the town you're from?
Nikopol.
Nikopol. Do you still have family that lives in Nikopol and friends there?
Yes, absolutely. Pretty much everyone is there. I only have two cousins here in the United States, but like my mom, my immediate family, so my mom, my sister, her husband, and my nephew, they all there, as well as my aunts, cousins, very close friends from school, college. Majority of them all there.
Yeah. So what is the perspective of kind of an average person that lives in Ukraine right now on this? I mean, what's sort of the history between Ukraine and Russia? It was once part of the Soviet Union, and so in the 90s it gained its independence. But I know that there's still some connection between Russia and Ukraine, still a lot of Russian speakers in Ukraine. How do you view that relationship, and then what is it like for an average person living there to be seeing tanks rolling down the street?
After spending the first 22 years in Ukraine, I never felt that there was any suppression of Russian-speaking people. I've never felt that there was any, anyone was chasing you down for that you speak Russian, or in fact I speak both languages. When I was growing up, I can fluently speak both. I can switch back and forth. I can speak to a Ukrainian person in Russian. They can speak Ukrainian back to me. We would be totally fine understanding each other, or it's just really like a personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there are many Russian-speaking people. I grew up in an area where Russian was dominant. Ukrainian language is more dominant in the western part, but it was kind of like, I would say, and I've been to Canada once, but it's kind of like that people speak English and French there. But to me it was no difference which language to speak and which part to in Ukraine to go to and visit. It was just kind of like you just do both.
Yeah. It's just whatever happens to be comfortable in that moment. Okay.
Yes.
It must feel a little bit powerless to be, over 7,000 miles away from Ukraine. What can someone in Tuolumne County do to help the people of Ukraine?
Yeah, the first 5 days after this invasion happened, I really felt. I was getting very emotional, and I just didn't know what I could do and just how I can help. Try to stay on the phone with my mom as much as possible. We're brainstorming like what they can do, but there was such a chaos there, and people were running. people were staying. There's bombings, but thankfully the area that where they at, it was not. They still had like sirens going off and everything, but they did not have any. Like they were not in the hot zone, thankfully. So it was just the first few days were just kind of like chaotic for me as well. But then I just decided to help or just do something and just to see to see who else may need my help, because I know so many people there. Like my aunts, my friends, my uncles, like it's a lot of people, professors from college, like that I still keep in touch with. So I just created a fundraiser. First, it was kind of dedicated to my immediate family and my close friends, and I kept asking, if they need immediate help. And the thing is, they may need some financial assistance, but it was just like, all they did were just pretty much just staying home. It's not like they have to travel. They decided to stay in the country for now. So they're like, just, kind of like giving me thumbs up, like, okay, we're okay for now. Like, so I did send some funds directly to my family so they're able to, get some groceries, but I also sent some funds to organizations like children's organizations. And then I thought, well, I could also do something else. And I realized that they are in need of humanitarian help. So I just kind of like thought of the children and women first, and that was kind of like my main focus. And I just went to the store, got a lot of diapers, wipes, feminine care products, and just found a place here in the United States where you can ship all of the items, and then from there it will be shipped to Ukraine for free. So basically this is like a delivery company, Ukrainian delivery company that set up one warehouse like per country kind of thing, and you just ship it there, and then they send it, bulk ship it overseas.
Do you know what the name of that company is?
Yeah, it's called Nova Poshta. It's similar to UPS, FedEx here.
So it's Nova Poshta?
Nova Poshta.
Okay. And so people can go on the internet and...
I even created like a small website. It's called goldcountryforukraine.org. And it was my personal initiative, because not everyone has a Facebook or Instagram, or just don't know where to go. So it's just my kind of like says one page of the like links that I put together. Like there's my fundraiser, there's information about me. Then I put a couple of links where else you can donate. Like there's a children's hospital, and there's another children's organization that you can donate to as well.
That's great. And it's called what again?
goldcountryforukraine.org.
goldcountryforukraine.org.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's good, because I think that there are a lot of people in our community that are very generous, and they want to help, and they see what's going on in the news, but it's just hard to know where to go and what how to contribute, because it's so far away, and it's a very confusing situation over there.
It is. And also, unfortunately, when there's a sad things happening like this, many people take advantage of it. There's a lot of scams, and many people are hesitant even like helping, because they're not sure if the fund's gonna go in the right hands. There are so many scams out there, and when I did when I do my own research, like I get so many, I see so many requests, but I gotta be careful and just see who I send money to and what organizations. So if you just don't know but you want to help, you can just do Red Cross, Red Cross Ukraine, or just the Red Cross. It will that it will go to the right people. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful that you are taking initiative and not just sitting on your hands. You're out there trying to help some people.
A little bit, yeah.
And that's a very Tuolumne County thing to do. So.
Yeah, and I wanted to add about the Tuolumne County residents. I've always kind of felt it was a very generous community, but the other day when I was dropping off boxes for to ship it to the warehouse, I was at the UPS store. We were just getting the boxes ready to ship. And one of these ladies, she just saw me, with a lot of boxes, and she saw the tag. It said Ukraine humanitarian aid. And she came up to me and gave me $100 to help for shipment, because it's pretty costly. Yeah. It was just, I cannot be any more thankful and grateful for the people in this community.
Yeah. And did you get to know many people that are from Russia? I mean, do you have family or friends that are Russian, and have they shared with you their perspective on the situation?
I do know some people from Russia, some of my relatives from Russia. The ones that I have spoken to, they do not support their government and their president actions. But again, it's very heartbreaking just to see what's going on, and unfortunately for us, just regular people, I don't think we will ever know what actually happened. And
that's an interesting point. The thing that I notice is that there's more information than ever before.
Absolutely.
We're able to, just people who have no military background and no background in wars or anything like that are able to pull satellite data and identify exactly how, where the columns of troops are, what the makeup of the troops are, the types of equipment they're using, things that have never existed before in the history of warfare for ordinary people to have access to. Mm-hmm. So on the one hand, there's so much more information than there ever was, but on the other, there's so much disinformation.
Oh, absolutely.
It's hard to really know what is accurate. So much of what we see on social media it's politically motivated to present one view or another. And the one thing that I've read, and I don't know if this is true or not, because there again, it's coming from these same sources, but that much of what's going on there isn't being reported very much in Russia. And so here it would be akin to the United States invading Canada and most Americans not even being aware of it. And I don't think that would sit very well with most people.
Yes, unfortunately, censorship is everywhere. Mm-hmm. More or less, it's everywhere. From what I've learned, what's happening in Russia, it's big. And when, some reporters go on the streets and just tell them that, did you know that there's wars happening in Ukraine? And the person would say, no, it's not what's shown on TV. Because he would never do that. So you can kind of understand what kind of information they are getting and what information they have been getting in the last, 8, 10, 20 years. Yeah. I don't know. So I truly believe that the misinformation in Russia and censorship in Russia is huge.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. How do you feel about President Zelensky?
I've known him for many years, as far as, he was a comedian. Mm-hmm. That's how I knew him, and that's how I remembered him from my early years. And when I found out he was going for the election in 2019, I thought, I was positive about it. Again, I did not know much of the politics, who he was really going against, what was his promises, But the fact that he gained 73% on the election, and I personally felt good about it. I could not say I probably would have voted for him if I was there, but I don't know. Overall, I felt pretty okay. I just felt like it was going to be a change, because it's, the previous presidents, they were I don't know. But I just felt like it was just a new beginning and a fresh start kind of thing. That's what I personally thought, 2 years ago when during the election.
Yeah. Well, he's standing up pretty firmly against Russia, and so it's kind of being viewed by Western media as a bit of a David and Goliath type
Yeah, no,
situation with him.
he is definitely. And I think, again, coming from being born there and raised, uh, having that kind of mentality, just like when you see videos, him basically sitting down with the journalists, almost like just as close as we are, and that's our hospitality. That's our kind of like mentality, and then this is like how we invite people, and we just kind of like feel like we're one big family. And then you watch the Russian news and the Russian president when he's sitting at the, I don't know, 12 feet long table
on a velvet rug with
yes,
gold
and also another
drapes
interesting
around him.
right, another interesting kind of fact about, again, it's my personal kind of perspective. I've been to Russia a few times, and like back in 2007, 8, 10. And when I went there, like I was fascinated by the city. I went to Moscow. I really liked it, but there was always something in the air when you just don't feel like you're welcome. It's very hard to explain. It's like my personal feeling, because I have been to different countries, and I did not have that feeling when I came for the first time to the U.S., which it was absolutely new country. I spoke very little English, almost no English. It was just and I did not have that feeling. I felt like, oh, this is America. Like it felt good. But when I went to Russia a few times, I just felt like I just always felt like somebody was watching me. I don't know why. It was just someone's watching me. Somebody's gonna take me. I don't know. It's just like, just that strange feeling. Although, I spoke the language, I knew where I need to go. Like it was very familiar to me.
Yeah.
But I always had that. It's hard to explain. But
so what would it? So if I was to travel to Ukraine, maybe not right now, but
in the future.
In better times, which will be coming soon, we're very hopeful. If I was to travel to Ukraine, how would I feel? How would I be received?
I think you will feel welcomed. 3.5 years ago, we all went to Ukraine. Me, my husband, and our son. He was 3 years old at the time. I personally felt like I was home. I'm sure my husband felt, very like invited to, to join anywhere we went. Everyone was fascinated that he didn't speak any Russian, he only spoke English. And I was like, oh, you're from America, like people were taking pictures. It's just was. It felt really, really good and very cozy.
Yeah. Okay, so how often do you talk to your family? Like your mom? You said your mom's still there. What's kind of, do you have like a daily just check in, or how does that work?
Well, in the last 2 weeks, ever since the war started, have been in touch every day.
Yeah.
Going to bed, waking up, checking on my family, my close friends, just checking in what they are doing, where they at, how the night has been, if there were any sirens, if they had to go hide, in the basements or anything. So just gonna check in and constantly throughout the day, just checking in and see how they're doing.
Yeah. And what do they usually say?
They say, if there was like sirens or anything, they would say like, okay, it was a few sirens, we had to go hide in like, say, not in the basement, but like my mom and my sister would go like in the hallway. It's like the most the safest area in their home. But just pretty much just say we're hanging in there.
I mean, we've seen that this has become the largest refugee crisis since World War II. That has to have an impact, and are people trying to arrange places for all of those people to go? I mean, what kind of an impact is that having on everyday life?
It really depends on the area. But the fact that the entire Ukraine is not sleeping, sleeping less,
really?
it's for sure. I have friends who joined volunteers. They're driving medications in Dnipro, which is the city where I went to college to. It's over 1 million population, large city. They drive medications, from one area to another to help refugees who are coming from the east, or either like staying in Dnipro because it's like a central Ukraine, so they would either stay there or kind of have a layover and then continue their way to the west. Some just kind of helping online and connecting people, who has, say, a place to stay and people who needs that place. Some people, so there's some people. I have a friend who is actually joined. They set up like a sewing area where they make blankets. She is helping there. So just everyone's just trying to find a way to help one way or the other.
Yeah. Now, we talked a little bit about the website that you set up. Could you share that with us one more time?
Yes, it's called goldcountryforukraine.org.
Okay. So thank you very much for being here, Nadiia Solo. Thank you for your activism on behalf of the community where you grew up, and for being here to talk a little bit about it. I know it's a difficult situation, and we're all praying that there will be a good outcome and that we'll have peace again in Ukraine.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here, Ryan.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Campbell. Please come back again next week when we'll be talking about more issues that matter most to our community. Have a great day.